you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Please call or text 988.
The number is being given today, so we don't have to light this candle to remind us of another life lost to suicide.
There will be better days ahead. You just have to wait for them. There will be better days ahead.
Don't hesitate to reach out to someone right now.
I promise you that you are appreciated and loved.
Depression and anxiety, know that you're not alone. Need help? I'm going to ask you again. Call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK. You can also text or call 988, the Suicide Crisis Hotline. I love you guys. I want you here. Please help each other.
You are entering the cosmos.
Hello, cadets, and welcome to another Big Monster Briefing Room with me, General Howitzer, retired, and of course, Major Millie Hazzard.
Hello. Hello, cadets. It's so great to be here today. How is everybody? And of course, we had the suicide prevention ad at the very beginning. I thought that was so beautiful. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and
Yes.
MM Farwell has spearheaded all these different wonderful events. So we're very proud to be a part of that today.
Indeed, we are. If you are trying to prevent or avoid monsters, chances are you're not suicidal, so that's good. But in case you know somebody who is, yes, definitely reach out to those help lines and get them help, because it's very important.
Exactly. Very, very important. And I'm very excited about, because today is Plan 9 from Outer Space. And this training film is absolutely incredible. It's a classic. It's very important. A lot of people have seen this thing. I know we're going to get a lot of audience members here and also cadets. And of course, my favorite guest of all time is here, which is Tom Cheshire. I'm a huge fan of his on his show, Burn It Down. And he's here. So I just want to spend a lot of time with him. And it's like one of my favorite training films of all time and one of my favorite guests of all time. So everybody is in for a treat today, I promise.
That's funny you call this one of your favorite training films, because this film has the distinction by the Golden Razzies of being supposedly the worst film ever made.
No, it's not, because it's educational. You have to understand what the purpose of the film is. The training film's purpose is to inform and educate the public. And it does a very good job of that, I believe, me personally.
Well, I think we need to point out that the film has its own charm and has got its own cult following, because even though Mr. Ed Wood, who directed it, produced it, wrote it, did all of that, even though he kind of did it ineptly, made a lot of wrong choices.
But it has heart.
That's what adds to its charm.
It has heart and charm. And talk a little bit about Ed Wood. I mean, he's very iconic. He's very famous or infamous. Tell the cadets a little bit about him and his career.
He started out directing, producing his own scripts. He became a friend to Bela Lugosi in his last years of his life, and put Bela Lugosi in his early projects, which include Glenn or Glenda, which was a movie about a transvestite who was trying to cope with his transvestitism, if that is a word. And this was back in the 50s. So after that, he did Bride of the Atom, which became Bride of the Monster, with also Bela Lugosi and Tor Johnson, who's also in this movie. And then he went on to make Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is the one he's most remembered for. Again, we're going to pick through a lot of things that, went wrong when they made this film. But the fact of the matter was he got the film made, he got it out there, and it became a cult classic. After this, he kind of deteriorated into alcoholism and started to do softcore porn in the 60s. But still, because of these earlier efforts that he did, Tim Burton made a movie about him in the mid 90s, Ed Wood, which was shot in black and white, and Johnny Depp played him in the movie, and had a lot of other actors, interesting actors, and is actually an Academy Award winning movie. They got an Academy Award for makeup for making Martin Landau look like Bela Lugosi, and they got an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for Martin Landau for playing Bela Lugosi. So again, the movie itself about Ed Wood's life and his troubles and tribulations, they took a lot of liberties with the history, but it is an interesting film about him and his career, his early career before he on up through Plan 9 from Outer Space. And that's the most interesting part of his life. After that, again, he kind of spiraled downward, and he died young, and he was an alcoholic, and it was not so good. So he wrote porn novels and porn movies.
So, everybody has their own story. Okay, so that's his story, and I really enjoyed learning that about him. And now you're going to get to see some of his work because we do have some still frames from the movie. If you haven't seen,
we're going to do a complete timeline of the movie like we always do.
If you haven't seen the movie, I mean, most of you cadets have probably seen it multiple times, but if you haven't, we're going to read you in.
And in color.
Totally, it's been colorized, which is very exciting.
Yes,
so awesome.
I did. Okay. I got a very high quality copy of the colorized version, and that's what we made our timeline from. So without further delay, let's bring up Mr. Tom Cheshire.
Tom Cheshire, we love him.
Who is a huge fan.
Burn it down.
I am so excited that I just can't hide it.
I'm so excited. I just can't hide it.
How are you, General? How are you, Major? I am honored. I'm a big fan of you guys. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm representing a guy who's been on your show before, Jules, aka Julio Morales, who made me a special I Choose Awesome hat, custom hat. And a note from some of the people at TCB saying that they love you, and we appreciate you guys and all that you do. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Can you hold it up again so we can
see it? Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful.
There's a bullseye with a circle, and it has Rory in the middle with nothing but guns and arrows and hearts.
That is awesome.
He's used to having people put his picture up as a dartboard. That's true.
Yes. I was going to say, Rory was sending me a message the other day, General. Tell him I was busy and I was on a ladder. But General, when you talk to Rory, tell him T-Chess will give him a call in a couple of days, if you know what I'm saying.
Sounds good.
He's very good friends with Mr. Penland. We love Mr. Penland. He's a big star. He's a multi-talented
man of 1,000 voices.
Man of 1,000 voices. It's amazing.
Word on the scene is you guys were even roomies in college for a bit.
Well, no,
I've heard that. No, they might have been more than that. I don't know. There's some rumors.
That's fake news.
Yes.
They're very close.
Listen,
I'm much older than he is.
Spread rumors. I mean, don't spread rumors. Don't spread diseases. Don't spread anything toxic. We're here to talk about movies.
Let's talk about Plan 9.
We're here to talk about Plan 9.
Let's spread education.
Well, when the general reached out, he goes, "How do you feel about 9 on 9?" I go, "What are you talking about, General?" And I forget that he has such a military past, this general. He's yelling at me. He's like, "How do you feel about 9 on 9?" I go, "What are you talking about, General?" He goes, "Let's talk about Plan 9 on the 9th." And I go, "But it's the 8th."
Yeah, that was a technical gaffe on my part. I was looking at the wrong calendar page.
General, it's an honor, just the fact that you're thinking about me, and thank you for your service to this country.
I'm old, damn it. What can I say?
Thank you. And Julio Morales says this backstory is getting weird, and I agree. It's getting weird.
Tell Julio to mind his own business.
I almost invited Julio to join this show because there are zombies in this.
Oh, Julio is the best. I love what he does for every show. Yeah. And I love that he's become a star on his own with his own show. So big ups to the Drunkles, him and Greg. I think on Tuesdays and Fridays, they're doing the Lord's work. They're doing the Lord's work.
I mean, every Friday, it's like from 5 p.m. to almost 11 p.m. They go late, and it just brings joy to everybody. We love it.
They're getting drunk.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it, General and Major. I'm super excited to talk about this movie.
All right, let's get started.
Yeah, it reminds me of being a kid. It reminds me of being a kid.
Yes, and again, we got the colorized version, which actually the colorization of this is not so bright as some, but we start with Criswell, the predictor, the man with the Dairy Queen haircut.
I love it.
He had a habit of making these really bizarre, out there predictions, and again came into Ed Wood's circle, and there's the title card. He's got a nice suit on, he's got a bingo card table below him, but that we don't judge him for that. This was originally called Grave Robbers from Outer Space.
That's right.
It was released in this initial run as Grave Robbers from Outer Space, but Wood actually wanted to release it in the South without the other people knowing it. so they changed the film to Plan 9 from Outer Space. In the movie Ed Wood, they say that the church people that were giving him money made him change the name.
That's right. It all came down to selling it. Yeah.
It's not true. The line Plan 9 from Outer Space had already been written into the script long before. So here it is. The written, produced, and directed by Ed Wood Jr. That's the sign of top quality right there. We start off with a funeral with Bela Lugosi. The headstone looks a little worn for his wife. His wife has died.
Right.
So Bela Lugosi got top billing for this, but actually they only put in silent footage of him that was shot by Ed Wood for another project.
That's right.
The Ghoul Goes West. And that little few minutes, it's like 3 or 4 minutes of Lugosi is in this movie, and he's top billed. He's the top star.
And didn't they say that was his last film, actually?
This is his last movie.
Yeah.
Wood actually shot some other footage of him for another project, but that footage deteriorated to the point where they couldn't use it when they went to go looking for it. So it was they shot it on some kind of nitrate or something that didn't hold up well. So unfortunately, that footage was gone. So this is his last Bela Lugosi movie. Yes, and here we have the two grave diggers waiting to do their job. Now I think that Ed Wood missed a chance here because these two guys should have been made into zombies. I think it would have been great for these guys to be running around too as zombies. They're supposed to be building a zombie army.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm way down here now. Narrowing first, the Gravediggers waiting. Jeff Trent is a pilot in this movie. He's the star. He is played by Gregory Walcott, who's actually a very established actor in Hollywood. Did a lot of roles back then. Actually was in quite a few movies recently. He was in a lot of Clint Eastwood movies, and he was actually in Ed Wood as one of the investors, or one of the guys they were trying to get to invest in the movie. So anyway, he and his co-pilot Danny see a saucer. Now the woman in that picture was actually Ed Wood's wife at the time. She was the flight attendant.
Didn't know that.
Yes. I found that out last night when I was doing some research. She was actually his wife. Yeah. Her name is... Where is it? Oh my gosh. Her name's Edith in this. Norma McCarty. McCarty. She was married to Ed Wood very briefly. She found out she found out he was a cross-dresser and left him like a ton of bricks.
That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
I guess she saw Glenn or Glenda. You know? Dorothy Fuller left him for the same reason, basically.
Yeah,
that was his first girlfriend. She went on to write Elvis tunes.
Imitating life.
Yeah, Rockahula Baby and Do the Clam. She wrote. That's truth. So okay, these saucers are flying over Hollywood. It's not a pie plate, by the way, landing in the cemetery there. This was actually a flying saucer model kit that they bought. They bought a couple of them, and originally the thing had a clear top with a little green alien inside, but they just sprayed it with silver paint and did their own thing, their own saucer thing with it. So luckily he didn't get caught for copyright on that from the toy company, the model kit company. So okay, the grave robbers, or I'm sorry, grave diggers, are going to fill up the grave that the wife is in, but the wife's already out of the grave. She's a zombie now, and it's played by Vampira, and she comes after them. They got a big surprise. The next day, her husband, played by Lugosi, comes out of his house. He's still dressed up like Mr. Hyde. So I guess he's very heartbroken about his wife's death. He's still wearing the black outfit with the cape and the hat. He is so upset that he just walks out into traffic. And he himself ends up being buried the next day in the cemetery. And oh my God, he must have been poor, because look at the size of that mausoleum. It is tiny. It's like a clown car watching all these people come out of this little tiny mausoleum. So, and of course, at the funeral, the vampire always shows up now. So, and this woman is not screaming at Vampira. She didn't even see her. She's screaming at the two dead grave diggers. She found their corpses, or should I say the dummies of them, on the ground with their shovels. Either it's tiny or they're very tall.
Very tall gal.
Thank you, Gregory. So there it is. Those are the two dummies of the grave diggers. So the police show up. This large man with the hat on the right is Inspector Clay, played by wrestler Tora Johnson. And in the back there, in the trench coat, that is Lieutenant Harper, played by cowboy star Duke Moore.
Mm-hmm. And
he is really one of the heroes of this film. He's one of the guys that makes it through the end. Jeff Trent is home now with his wife, Paula Trent. Hey, Paula. I'm going to be singing that throughout.
Good.
Every time I say her name. And he tells her about the flying saucer incident. So, and it just so happens that they live next to the cemetery where all this action takes place. Their patio overlooks the cemetery. Now, here's a little fun fact. Paula is actually supposed to be Lugosi and Vampira's granddaughter.
Wow.
That's the way Ed Wood originally wrote it. That's why they end up coming to her house.
Mm-hmm.
Is because she's supposed to be the granddaughter of the old man and the old woman who die. But then during production, Wood decided to scrap that idea and just make Bela Lugosi's character an old man, just a plain old man, and his hot vampire-looking wife. Nothing is ever explained about the fact that there's such an age difference between Vampira and Lugosi, who's like in his mid-70s. She's like in her 30s. Anyway, I guess they had relationships back then like that. So Tora Johnson's character, Inspector Clay, runs into Lugosi, who's actually played here by a chiropractor, who is a stand-in for Lugosi with a Lugosi wig on, and he just keeps the cape in front of his face. There he is.
The fake Bella.
I can't remember his name now. It's Tom something. Chiropractor Tom, everybody calls him. And that's probably the best picture of Vampira in this movie. She has a tiny, tiny, tiny waist. That's the scariest part about her, I think, is how tiny her waist is. Oh my God. It's just so scary how tight her waist is. So he shoots at them. It was an arranged marriage. He shoots at them. Of course, that has no effect on them. They're the Walking Dead. They have a night. They find Inspector Clay dead, and they have a night ceremony, a night funeral for him. Would you go to a funeral at night in a creepy graveyard?
Nah. I don't know. Back then, nah.
He should have had two backdrops, one for day and one for night. Is what I'm saying. So they bury Inspector Clay, and everybody shows up. That's Conrad Brooks on the left, by the way. And I'm going to show a picture in the General Howitzer room of me actually meeting Conrad Brooks at a Denny's a long time ago, back when the movie Ed Wood came out. And of course, Vampira's there. She's watching from a distance. Tom Mason was the stand-in, he says. The next day, there's 3 saucers in the air. Everybody sees them over Hollywood. There's even a newspaper article about it, by gosh. Saucers seen over Hollywood. So, yeah. And there it is, doing a flyby at ABC Studios. I'm totally lost on my notes now, so I'm just watching the pictures and commenting.
Thank you, Julio, for that update. We appreciate what you do.
Night funerals are all the rage.
Disco.
This is Lieutenant Diane. No, Colonel Edwards. I'm sorry, Colonel Edwards. Played by Tom Keane. And he goes ahead and fires at the alien saucers. We find out in this picture that they are ignoring the aliens' messages. They're just refusing to believe that the aliens are nice and are trying to warn us, and they just fire upon them. And this guy's like, "That didn't work, did it?" Nope. Just bounces right off. Again, very minimal set. And here we have the Mothership. And the little ship coming into the Mothership for recharging. So here is a very interesting set. When you go inside a Mothership, in a movie today, it's usually very either very goopy. Am I on? Am I still here? Some scam artist just tried to call me. It's either very goopy inside the Mothership or very technical. There's a lot of now here we have a mahogany desk. The leader looks very bored, by the way, throughout this. That's Bunny Breckenridge, John Bunny Breckenridge, who was played in Ed Wood by Bill Murray. And he also wants to get a sex change. Never happened in his life. So can we go back to that slide of the set? I want to show some of the things that are here. Do you like what I've done with the curtains? You don't expect to see curtains in a spaceship, but there you go. He's also got a pen and pen holder on his desk. They use pens on his mahogany desk. So yeah. Okay, we can move forward now. I just wanted to point out that the set was a little weird. Okay, so back on the patio, Jeff and Paula. Hey, Paula. He's telling. Whoa! A little too fast there. He's telling Paula that he's worried about her. Staying here by the cemetery. Why don't they move? If you don't like being by the creepy cemetery, move. Go somewhere else. She's like, "Oh, it's okay. The cemetery's out there. I'm going to be in here. You're going to be up there." So, not a big deal. So she thinks. So they're back up in the air. I love the plane set too, by the way. They have little cardboard like steering mechanisms. Dan is reading from a script in his lap, by the way. Everybody loves to get that out. And there's Eva again. And she says, hey, why don't you call her? Call her at home from the airplane here. So Lugosi shows up in old footage, narrated now by Criswell. And he heads for Paula's house, which is actually Tor Johnson's house, by the way. All the stuff that was filmed with Lugosi was at Tor Johnson's house. Did not know that until last night.
Wow.
So, yeah, the stuff that was filmed out front was the front of Tor Johnson's house. The stuff filmed out and the back is actually the side of Tor Johnson's house.
Mm-hmm.
So Lugosi flips his cape and goes into the side of Tor Johnson's house. Magically ends up teleported into Paula's house. Now, here's another interesting fun fact. We missed one earlier. There's a gravestone that has somebody's name on it who won a contest that was run by the people that colorized the movie. There's a picture over the bed here, and the couple that won this particular raffle or whatever it was, they got their picture over the bed.
I love it.
Somebody else got their name on the headstone that was next to Tor Johnson's dead body. And that was only in the colorized version because this was a promotional that was done by the colorization company that did the movie. So, okay, so here he comes. I want to check your neck. The chiropractor. She runs out.
The fake Bella.
Yes, she runs out into the graveyard. She's got 3 other directions she can go. But naturally, you're running from a creepy guy all dressed in black. You got to run into the graveyard. Now, I've been doing a lot of talking here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if there's anything you want to interject here, by all means, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm loving all this. I love the fake Bella, the chiropractor. I basically probably wouldn't even have known that until recently. I just started doing some research when we talked about this. Yeah. When the general called me and said, "Listen, 9 on 9."
You're not gonna let me live that one down.
No, I absolutely love it. The reason why I love the movie so much is because we used to go to this drive-in theater when I was a kid. And it was one of the cooler things that my parents did do. And so it's a fond memory. And they would wake us up in the middle of the night, my parents, and we'd still be in our pajamas. And they'd be like, that's it. We're getting in the station wagon, and we would go to this drive-in theater like on a Saturday night. And that was one of the movies. And then that's it. It's a great memory, but you don't really remember the movie, And then what happens is, over the years, you hear a reference in so many comedies, and it's referenced in so many things that we hear that you think you know it, And so you go back and visit it, and for all of its flaws, because I think you're right, for the longest time was considered like the worst movie ever. I think until the 80s they did Dune, and then that was like the worst movie ever, But both of those I love. And I think it's aged like really well because I think there's so many and there are so many flaws, things that he could have done, But there's something really magical about it. Even just the fake flying saucer flying in the air, the police officers' voices, like it's just like, man, let's go get him. What's going on here? There's so many things that are classic Hollywood.
All these spoof details.
Exactly, and I mean, and I love Ed Wood. And love Bela Lugosi and everyone else like who had bigger parts in the film. I just loved their voices. I loved everything the way it went next to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I think it was the Medved brothers who were movie critics. They wrote a book about Ed Wood being the worst director and Plan 9 being the worst film. Right. It actually gave him recognition, and again, got a new cult following because it became a new category. Whereas it's so bad, it's good.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean,
and you just enjoy it so much because you can laugh at it, you can drink beer and watch it, and have a good time watching it.
And we're big fans of that because we love sci-fi and horror films and anything that has this that has this you know, almost I guess you'd say basically even the perfect amount of cheesiness to it, you know, because
driving up in the daytime, and then all
yeah,
of a sudden they're there at night in the cemetery.
Funerals at night, run out the door into the cemetery. No, I mean I think it actually has aged well, and even with all of its flaws, because its flaws almost make it better, you know.
Well, yeah. Again, it's considered, quote, bad cinema, which is fun to watch. There are movies that I watched, like Bolero with Bo Derek, which I can't. I walked out. That's the only movie I've ever walked out of a theater.
And that's Bo Derek.
I couldn't watch it. It was just so bad. It was just bad. You couldn't even laugh at it, at how bad it was.
I've always heard the name Bolero. I don't think I ever saw it. I saw 10, that's for sure. But I don't know if I ever saw Bolero. Is she on a horse in that movie?
I think so.
That's 10. And that might be. Oh no, it might be Bolero.
No, yeah, she's on the beach in 10.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. By brain screen, I'll definitely remember that. But no, I mean I'm going to be watching it again over the next few days. I've only seen clips of it, and I've done a little bit of research on it. Like I was saying, I guess it was considered Bela Lugosi's last film, but he was dead. He didn't even know he was going to be in it. Like, you know,
correct.
I mean, it's just like, man, we're gonna flog the hell out of this guy.
His first real film, his last real film was probably Bride of the Monster, but
and there were like 3 other films that should have happened, but you know, because Ed Wood was a mess, and his girlfriends and wives were leaving him, he had other things going on.
Yeah. It's technically, yes, it is his last movie, and there he is in the footage we discussed.
Yeah.
And again, that was for what Ed Wood was going to do, called The Ghoul Goes West.
Right. Yeah.
So
and
Elvira, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was wonderful. She was wonderful. I was just thinking about this because now this weekend, I've been renting a lot of movies lately. I was talking about I've been renting actual DVDs from this video store, and it's been so enjoyable going down and just renting these movies that no one sees anymore. You know, and I'm like, well, I'm going to rent Plan 9 and Ed Wood. And I'm super stoked. And I'm thinking on Halloween, I'm not going to go as Bela Lugosi, but I'm going to go as fake Bela Lugosi like this. And on the back of my cape, I'm going to have written chiropractor.
I bet a lot of people will get that, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people have seen Ed Wood. A lot of people see. Yeah. And if you're renting movies, you should get Bride of the Monster, too. That's a big part. That's a big part of it. And so we have a baby plot. But no, wait a minute. It's not a baby plot. It's Tor Johnson's grave. And he has a hard time getting up and out of there. But he finally manages to squeeze himself out of that.
He was a big lad, man. Oh my goodness.
But he does look very impressive. You could see what Ed Wood saw in using this wrestler as a giant monster.
Right.
He plays Lobo in Bride of the Monster.
Yes.
But, you know, when you heard him talk, he could barely speak English. I think he was a Swedish wrestler, right?
Yeah. He actually had some minor success after that too, right? A few other films, yeah. Bride of the Monster, Plan 9, and Ed Wood sounds like an awesome Saturday night to me right now.
Yes.
Watching all 3 of those.
Because that's what Ed Wood basically is him making Glen or Glenda, Bride of the Monster, and then Plan 9. Glen or Glenda is very, very hard to find.
Is it really? Well, so, man, shout out to Videodrome in Atlanta. These guys are so awesome, and they really specialize in, like, cult films, indie films, horror films, and so happy for their successes because I've known the guys over the years, and they're like, oh yeah, no, we did really, really well during the pandemic because people couldn't get out, so people went and rented old movies. I was like, good for you dudes, you know.
I have to tell this story now because I did mention that I met Conrad Brooks.
Yeah, you mentioned it to me in the green room. I love it.
Some guy had conned him into doing another Ed Wood kind of
Oh my goodness.
VHS home movie direct to video thing called Conrad Brooks Meets the Wolfman.
Yeah,
meets
yeah,
the
okay.
meets the werewolf. And the only place you can get this is through this guy who thinks he is like Ed Wood.
He's got a website.
He's got like, you know, a 1,000 advertisements for it on YouTube, but not the whole movie. It's actually very hysterical because again, it's so bad. Well, there he is. I was going to put this on the General Howitzer page. Thank you for putting that up there. That
shows you how awesome Major is behind the scenes, kicking ass. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. There he is. That's how he looked around the mid '90s. Everybody from that movie is gone now.
Yeah, I was wondering. He can't be around anymore. I mean, if he is, he's not getting around.
No, he's gone. Paul Marco's gone. We just lost Greg Walcott not long ago. So yeah, there's nobody left over from this movie.
I love all the costumes. I love all the costumes in the movie though, and it's funny that I didn't notice until you mentioned like the bad, like why is there a pen holder on a spaceship or why are there curtains, which just makes it even better and funnier. But the costumes, are awesome.
Yeah, it was suspension of belief. You know, that was his feeling. Yeah, they're not going to notice the small stuff. They're only going to notice the big picture. So,
right.
Tor Johnson became famous as a mask, a Halloween mask. That's the original Don Post mask from the late 60s.
Yeah.
Johnson died in 1971. It had a big scar on the forehead. I'm not sure where that came from, but I guess that was just a personal decision when they created it.
Right.
And, they've made other Tor Johnson masks since then, on up till today, and they're getting better and better at it.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
There's another one. His eyes are just pinpoints, though, in Plan 9 from Outer Space. You can barely see through the contact lenses they put in his eyes. And the masks today actually they show the eyes being white with like one little pinhole.
Right.
So, but thank you, Major Millie, for that.
Yeah, Major rocks. Yeah, that's another one. I've seen that one as well, General. That's a good one.
Yeah, this is one of the newer ones.
Yeah, they get better. They get better.
Yeah, the sculpts are getting closer and closer to what he looked like in Plan 9. So, okay, so we got Vampira again, and they're going after Paula. Hey, Paula.
Hey, I'm going to start singing it with you.
One of the locals rescues her. He sees her on the side of the road. Wait a minute, this is California, isn't it? What's that cowboy doing here? What did you say about costume choices?
Yeah.
No, for the most part, I agree with you. The costumes in this were actually
the costumes are awesome. I love every costume.
That's one thing. Now you'll see in a picture later that the aliens are all wearing lace up knee boots, which I thought was an interesting choice. But yeah, he has a hard time getting her in this car. He just kind of throws her over the side there, but he rescues Paula. And obviously it pisses Bella off.
Mm-hmm.
He flips his cape around and goes the other way again.
That's great.
Obviously, Tor and Vampira are disappointed.
Shocked.
They're actually brought to the spaceship. And we know this is the inside of the spaceship because look at all that cool technical equipment.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah. The test tubes. I love it. So they're brought in just for only the fact to show us, the audience, that they can be shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're coming at what's her name? Tana and Eros are the names of the two aliens. And he's like, well, shut them down. And that's them shut down.
There's no other reason for that to be there. It's just another.
There's no other reason for them to come to the ship other than to show the audience, hey, we can shut them down. If I was somebody running a spaceship, I would not have the zombies come on board.
No,
I wouldn't do it. But it gets worse because they show it to the big guy up on the They show it to the supreme leader up in the mothership in a minute.
Yeah,
So anyway, okay.
Julio said it looks like the inside of a 7th grade science class. It actually does. I was expecting to see like little jars of Elmer's glue in the corner. I bet you Elmer's glue is holding half of the set together. Actually,
they have wooden tables. My favorite is the wooden ladder that they spray painted silver and stuck on the wall just to make.
I know. I was just looking at that. I hadn't noticed that either. I'm like, where's this thing going? The ladder.
Exactly. And I can understand them doing it on the outside of the ship, but they did it in that set on the inside as well. Like, okay, this is going to go up somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the spaceship attic.
Yeah.
But it's clearly a wooden ladder that they spray painted silver.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Anyway, so the police show up because, Paula tells them to, there's ghoulies out in the graveyard. Mm-hmm. And they find the grave that Tor Johnson came out of. And it's Inspector Clay's grave, but he's not here. So here's another interesting set. This is the general's office. Generals don't get paid much, I'm guessing.
No,
back in that time anyway.
That's a cardboard desk right there.
It's decorated like a kid's room. So this is actually a very long scene. We get a lot of exposition done between the colonel and the general. He sends him to California to deal with the problem out in the graveyard in California. Okay, so here we come. They're back on the mothership with the supreme leader. This is where you can see their boots. They're wearing lace-up boots. I love their purple outfits. Are they velour? Are they suede? I mean, clearly this movie had a big influence on Prince. It's amazing. Purple satin Cossack type outfits. Yes,
I love it.
So Tor, they're going to show him that they can shut off Tor at a moment's notice, and of course, he goes right past the supreme leader and goes right for Eros, which is interesting. The supreme leader just sidesteps him. That's why they give him the big bucks, I guess. Mm-hmm. And her gun jams. She can't shut him off.
Oh yeah, I love that scene. She's like, "It's not working." And yeah, she's like, "It's not working. I need help here."
So it's not good in front of the boss. It's not a good show.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what? We're going to take away 2 of your saucers. You got to take over the Earth with 1 saucer now. That's what he tells him at the end of the scene.
Right.
So obviously, they've screwed up big time. And again, they could have kept building that zombie army, but they only have Tor, Vampira, and Lugosi. And he says, get rid of the old man. Says just to sacrifice him to terrorize the Americans or to terrorize the Earthlings. So back at the patio.
Backstage.
Yeah, well, Paula and Jeff are receiving the general and the lieutenant now. Mm-hmm. And then the chiropractor shows up. He's headed that way. The police officer tries to stop him.
Fake. We like to call him fake ass Bella.
So good reaction from her. Jeff seems pretty disinterested at this point.
Yes.
So sorry about that. I'm going to have to start going on my computer because I keep getting freaking phone calls during my shows.
What?
Usually scam artists. This one was one of my daughter's teachers. Anyway, so to hell with it. Just okay. So they shoot him, and that's when they pull the plug on the Bela Lugosi chiropractor, and he is a skeleton underneath his cape now.
Right.
The rest of his costume is gone. I don't know where it went to. And he's only been dead for like a week, but he is picked clean. He is a dry skeleton.
Exactly. Amazing.
And
they should have shown somebody walking around
later on.
Yeah. They should have showed him somebody walking around, running around with his clothes, with his cape on. Yeah. Why wasn't Ed thinking about that stuff? He needed a team.
Evidently, the chiropractor was naked under the cape. Lugosi had a costume on, but there's actually 2 zombies, and we just didn't know it. So they all see the green light at the other end of the graveyard, and they all decide, hey, you know, we should go over there and check that out. So we've got a perfectly good car. We can drive over there and see. But you know what? I'm going to leave the traumatized cop here with the female lead. She can sleep in the back seat of the car. We're going to walk over.
I love it.
and evidently the Lieutenant Harper is an NRA member because he has got guns for everybody. Here, take some of these guns. I got too many. We're all going to need a gun. Let's go. and ironically, the Colonel doesn't have his sidearm on, you know, so he takes one and go, oh yeah, we would need that.
I'll take one.
Yeah, sure. So, and they swing by the open grave again, just for shits and giggles, I guess. This is the grave that, you know, the captain was in, or the inspector was in. So they finally do find the ship. There's the ladder on the outside.
Yes, I love that ladder. Yes.
We know it's a spaceship. Can't figure out how to open the door. Hey, there's a window here. Let me look in and see if there's anybody in there. No, he didn't say that. He's thinking it.
Yeah.
And inside the ship, of course, Eros and Tana, ironically, the leaves to bring the mummy back to life in the old mummy movies, the Tana leaves. They send the message out to Tor to knock out the cop, kill him, knock him out. Evidently, he just knocks him out because he comes back later. And steal Paula. Hey, Paula.
Yes. There goes those outfits again and the boots. I love it.
We've been waiting for you. We turned on our generator here for you. I love that set. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Just the little things they just stuck on the wall, you know, that are supposed to be switches and stuff for the doors and things. It's just hysterical. I like the green paint here in the spaceship. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a colorization decision, I guess. So they're all in the spaceship now. They're looking around. Why are you here? That's the basic question. Why are you aliens here? Sorry, I was watching TV.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's not a real TV either. That looks like a painting.
Yeah. That's they're watching Tor bring Janet, or I'm sorry, Paula. I keep wanting to call her Janet for some reason. Paula back to the ship. So it's like, oh, he's got a hostage. And by the way, for the record, these guys look really serious. Why are you here? Eros, the head alien, looks like Don Knotts to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can see that totally.
So let me tell you something.
I love Don Knotts. Yeah,
you guys are idiots. That's his reason. He says, we're here because you're idiots. I love that line. And you know, Jeff is taking every ounce of his strength not to smack the guy. Hey, that's my planet you're talking about. And he goes on to say that they're going to hurt they're going to destroy the galaxy with the Solomonite, which is a bomb that they're going to create using the power of the sun. And they've foreseen it. They see it happening, coming soon. And of course, he ends up saying, you see, your stupid little minds, stupid. And that's it. Jeff can't take it anymore. He smacks the guy. And what's funny about the colorization here is that he turns green when Jeff smacks him. And he stays
almost
green
the
for
color
a few
of the
seconds.
wall. Yeah, he's almost the color of the walls behind him. Yeah.
So there it is. They're actually green, but for some reason they've made themselves look more like us. The makeup artist on this movie actually was very, very upset with with Ed Wood because he would not let him do makeup for the aliens. He said, no, we don't have time for that. I got to shoot 50 scenes today. No, we ain't got time for that. So he didn't have time for them to do makeup.
They'll just believe it. They'll believe everything.
It would just make them look like us. So there it is. And of course, he's watching Tor coming back to the ship with the woman again. thinking he's very confident that they're not going to do anything while Tor's out there with Paula. Hey, Paula.
Yeah.
I want to marry
I love,
you.
I
But
love
hey,
it.
we've got police officers, damn it. And they're damn good police officers. Hey, let's go get him. Let's hit him
I
on the
love
neck.
the
Make him
police
drop.
officers. Yeah.
So, yeah, they start pounding on Tor, and he drops her to the ground, and there it is. Hey, you okay? Can we help you? You need some water? So now Lieutenant Harper says, hey, it's time to make our move. Let's go. Let's try to get to the door. Knocks Tana out of the way. Jeff takes on Eros.
Mm-hmm.
Beats him rather soundly, rather quickly, too, I might add. Things start going boom. Look, they knocked the table over. that is a shop table if I ever saw one. He finally figures out how to open the door. That's why he's a colonel. And again, Jeff gives him the final blows, and they are out the door. Things are going poof, boom, boom. Smoke everywhere. And here's the strange part. They don't explain why or how the ship decided to take off.
Right. Right.
They leave the ship set. They get out of the ship, and all of a sudden the spaceship is in the sky. and they're looking at it. They're watching it. Hey, they're leaving. And they're showing shots of Tana going to Eros, who's on the floor, trying to get him up.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not flying the ship. He's not flying the ship. Is there an alien pilot that we don't know about that just said, "Oh, stuff's
Clearly.
happening. I gotta get out of it."
Yeah, clearly there's something we didn't know.
And look at the flame coming off of that thing, man. That is a huge flame coming off of that ship. So they take off. These guys are like, hey, they're taking off.
I can't believe it just happened.
We're lucky to get out of that thing.
What just happened? Yeah, was that a dream?
And a lot of smoke in the cemetery too, because the ship just took off. Tor's body again. At least they put the pants on him.
Mm-hmm. Very impressive.
He's picked clean. I mean, he is clean as a whistle. There is no meat or muscle on that bones. He just died 2 days ago.
He went quick.
So evidently, this pituitary thing that they do with the guns must clean their body of when they shut them down. I don't know. So there she is again, trying to wake up Eros. Come on, Eros! I think we took off. Oh my God, we're gonna die. Flying over California, Hollywood, on fire. The ship is on fire.
We don't need no water.
We don't need no Eros. Let it burn. Burn it down.
Burn it down.
So they're like, yeah, okay. It's gonna blow up in a minute. It is. Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Dragging this thing out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it does. It finally it finally does blow up. So of course we get Criswell at the end. You are interested in the future because that is where you're going to spend the rest of your lives. The dialogue is awesome. It is so bad. It is awesome. I love it.
It's perfectly bad, and I love everyone's voice. Everyone has a really good voice in it. Like the cops are fantastic. The gravediggers are fantastic.
Yep. Made in Hollywood, USA.
Oh my goodness. I'm about to go through the most insane Ed Wood probably rabbit hole the next couple of nights. Just looking up stuff, interviews from other people that work with him, testimonials, and then I'll probably start flirting with, seeing YouTube stuff. Interesting enough, the trailer was amazing. I looked at the trailer yesterday for the original trailer, and the guy's voice is like so boring, like, promoting it. It's like, man, we have some really good people these days that do voiceovers for trailers to advertise.
It was probably Ed Wood.
It probably was, exactly.
He wasn't the best of actors.
His boots were a little too tight. You know, he had some. You know, his zip up boots were a little too tight. If you know what I'm saying.
Now here's the funny thing. At the end credits, now Lugosi and Vampira get the last credits. In the end,
Yeah.
it's the next slide. They're actually listed as Vampire Girl and Ghoul Man and Criswell.
Right.
They get the final credits then. So, and there it is. That's Plan 9 from Outer Space. Color. Again, we had some fun picking at some of the things, some of the decisions Mr. Wood made.
Yes.
Glenn or Glenda is just as fun, Julio says.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you that you could watch Ed Wood with Johnny Depp on YouTube. I did last night. You have to watch commercials, though. You have to watch commercials.
We may do that this evening. Yeah. But Glenn or Glenda, you said, was a rough watch. Like, what made it rough?
Well, actually, it's, again, like this one, it's just kind of just bad. And it's
nothing makes sense because nothing makes sense at all. Yeah.
And knowing what you knowing from Ed Wood about his Angora fetish and stuff, yeah, you might enjoy it actually.
Well, and the thing is and even from watching, like Ed Wood, but it's been 20 years since I've seen it. But the way they portrayed him, they said, well, he portrayed him pretty close, to home, and it's like he might have had an idea, and then 1 minute later he's like, "Now we're doing this. We're gonna go ahead and do this." So if your brain operates that way, and that's the way you're directing, yes, nothing is gonna make sense.
Except he can act.
Yeah,
Johnny Depp can act.
Yeah, he could act. I haven't really enjoyed anything he's done in a long time, but we're not here to hate on anybody. We like a lot of Johnny Depp movies. Hey, is that the Major? What's going on?
Yes, I was enjoying every moment of it. This was so wonderful. I just realized, Tom Cheshire, you and I have never been alone on screen together. So we'll have to find a way to do something together.
Well, let me just tell you from afar, Major. I've been talking behind your back, right in front of your face for 20 minutes. I've had a crush on you forever. You're awesome. So
thank you so much.
My Julio Morales, awesome. I choose awesome hat. I take it off to you.
Oh, that means so much to me. Thank you so much, Tom Cheshire. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I love you, my brother.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming.
Man, thank you so much. Listen, like I said, we here love what you guys are doing, and we're spreading the word. And just like Gregory L. Gannon and Julio, you guys are doing the Lord's work, man. So we appreciate it.
And to everyone at TCB Studios, of course, Burn It Down is on Cosmos Television. It is a TCB Studios production. Starring Tom Cheshire, and it's every 9 p.m. every Monday Eastern time. Tell them who you got coming up.
Oh my goodness, these two young ladies. It's so funny because I reached out to MM and I said, well, can I have them on the show? And she said, they're their own people. Reach out to them. I was like, okay. So the ladies from Orchid Times, I have to admit, I mean, I'm a bit intimidated. I'm so impressed. If I had a fraction of their brains and basically ambition at that age, I'd be a lot further along in the entertainment field as a musician, painter, artist, and now talk show host. I'd have probably a couple hundred more fans.
Exactly. It's going to be absolutely amazing. They are so mature. They're the most professionally responsible people on the planet, and they're unbelievable.
They really are.
They are wonderful.
And like you guys, I love what you guys are doing. I just think Cosmos, and it really is the perfect name for it. So big ups to you guys on that, because I feel sometimes we are in this cosmos and there's this magic happening sometimes that's even bigger than us. Yeah. And I love that. And it's this camaraderie, and it's family. It's also business, and it's a conglomerate. So it has these umbrellas and all these other hats. And again, shout out to MM and everything you guys have been doing with the month of September. That's something I take very seriously myself. We don't want to lose anybody else. We want to talk about more bad movies.
Yeah, let's just talk about movies. Everybody's trying to be.
Listen, we are the Plan 9 of social media.
We are, listen, yes.
Get crayons, get cardboard. Listen, I work in television, and when they throw away boxes, in dumpsters. I take them and I cut like squares with razor knives, and I come home with like 90, basically pieces of cardboard, and I paint on them. And it provides solace for me and my brain, and it's just a healthy thing. Crayons, pencils, papers. Let's build some bad movie sets.
Let's do it.
Spray. The general will tell you, spray everything silver. Make it look like we're in space.
There you go.
That's
the way to do it.
wonderful. And now everybody should be watching No Icing with Drita coming up right now. Right now, Sandy D is the host. We'll see everybody later. Love everybody.
Big love, Sandy D. We love Sandy D.
We love Sandy D, the sexy cowgirl. Bye.